Welcome to Story Time with Kelly. I'm going to read The Runaway Walk. This book is written by Ying Cheng Compestine and illustrated by Sebastian Serra. The Runaway Walk. We just celebrated Chinese New Year on February 12th. We read this book. One Chinese New Year's Eve, a poor couple sent their son, Ming, to the market. Trade these last few eggs for a bag of rice, said Mama Zhang. Then we can make some stir-fried rice to share with the neighbors. It won't be much of a celebration again this year, Papa Zhang said with a sigh. You'd think that by working for Mr. Li, the richest man in Beijing, we would have enough to invite everyone over for the New Year's feast. Ming hurried off, eager to do his mother's bidding. It saddened him to see his hard-working parents being cheated by the greedy Mr. Li. As he walked, he daydreamed about what a real feast would be like and how nice it would be to have just one new toy to share with his friends. And here is the pictures. It looks like the whole village is getting ready for Chinese New Year. A small old man stopped Ming near the market. Hello, son. I see you have some eggs there. I will trade you this wok for them. No, said Ming. I need rice. Besides, your wok is rusted and has no handle. Just then the wok sang out. Boy, boy, trade for me. I am more than what you see. Ming had never heard a wok sing. He thought, this wok is magic. If it can sing, it must be able to do other amazing things. So he made the trade. The old man sauntered off, chuckling happily to himself. Oh, that can't be good. He's chuckling to himself. I love to see the marketplace. Look at all the activity happening. Ming's mother was not happy. Why did you trade for this battered old wok? What are we going to cook in it? But before Ming could answer, the wok sang out. Mother, make me shine so bright, and you shall have food to share tonight. See, Mama, said Ming, it's a special wok. Let's do what it says, said Papa Zhang. We're all hungry. So Mama Zhang washed and polished the wok until it sparkled. Then she set it on the table. To their surprise, it rolled off the table and out the door. Where are you going? Cried Mama Zhang. Skippity-hoppity-ho, to the rich man's wife I go, sang the wok, and it briskly hopped down the road. What? It's kind of like the gingerbread man. The wok skipped all the way to the Li kitchen. Mrs. Li was overseeing the servants prepare the New Year's feast for her family. The Lees never shared their food with anyone. The wok plopped down on the counter. Where did this come from? Asked Mrs. Li. No one knew. Well, put it to good use, she ordered. It will make a nice serving bowl. So the servants put in the wok festive stir-fried rice, pork dumplings, kung pao chicken, steamed buns, and walnut shrimp. There was still room for more. They added long life noodles, ginger fish, and rice cakes. Yet still there was room for more. Keep filling it, commanded Mrs. Li. I must go change for the party. Look at all that food. Yum. No sooner had the servants set the last bit of food in the wok than it jumped out the window. Skippity-hoppity-ho, to the poor man's house I go, sang the wok as it trotted down the road, brimming with delicious food. The Zhang family could hardly believe their eyes. They gleefully removed the food and set up a big feast. As soon as it was empty, the wok rolled out to their courtyard. Where are you going? Cried Ming. Skippity-hoppity-ho, to the rich man's son I go, sang the wok as it galloped away. Look, they did get to have a feast after all, didn't they? I wonder what it's going to do when it gets to the rich man's son. The walk caught up with the rich man's son, Lon, at the market, who, though he had many toys, would never share them with the other children. The walk blocked the road in front of him. What's this? Wondered Lon. I could use it to hold all my goodies. And without bothering to find the owner, the chubby boy grabbed the walk. Lon brought fireworks, toy dragons, cymbals, and drums. He piled them into the walk, and there was still room for more. So he bought lanterns, yo-yos, and kites. Finally, his weak arms grew tired, and he headed home. I wonder what's going to happen. So here is the rich man's son, and here are all his goodies and toys that he brought to put in the walk. When Lon arrived home, he put down the walk and went to find his mother. No sooner had he turned his back than the walk hopped away. Skippity hoppity ho, to the poor man's house I go. It pranced all the way back to the Zhang's house with all the goodies safe inside. Ming bounced with joy as he emptied the walk. There are enough toys here for all my friends, he exclaimed. The walk rolled over to the door and out of their courtyard once again. Where are you going? Called Mr. Zhang. Skippity hoppity ho, to the rich man's house I go, sang the walk as it spun down the road. The walk arrived at Mr. Li's shop just as he was counting the money he had cheated out of the poor people of Beijing. It leaped through the window and landed on the counter in front of him. Well, here's a nice pot to hold all my money. Mr. Li put handful after handful of gold coins into the wok, and there was still room for more. He dragged out a bag from under his counter and dumped all those coins into it too. I wonder what's going to happen. You guys already know, don't you? No sooner had Mr. Li emptied the last of his coins into the wok than it jumped out the window. Skippity hoppity ho, to the poor man's house I go. It scooted down the road all the way back to the Zhang's house, filled with all the money safe inside. Ming and his parents danced with delight. They invited all the poor people in Beijing to their New Year's feast. Mother Zhang served the food, Father Zhang divided the coins up among the families, and Ming handed out the toys to all the children. In the middle of the party, without anyone noticing, the wok slid out the door. Skippity hoppity ho, to the rich man's house I go. It hopped on to the Li house where the father and mother and their spoiled son were weeping and wailing and blaming each other for their misfortune. When they saw the wok, they jumped up. There's the wok that took all our food, cried Mrs. Li. And my toys, whined the boy. I'll break it for stealing our gold, vowed Mr. Li. The wok sang out, I dare you three to try and catch me. It does sound like the gingerbread man, doesn't it? The Li family chased after the wok. Chubby Lamb couldn't make it very far without losing his breath, and Mrs. Li had trouble running in her fancy shoes. But Mr. Li finally caught up with it. To stop the wok, he jumped inside, pressing it to the ground. Now I've got you, he growled. Wait for me, called Mrs. Li. I will teach that wok a lesson. When Mr. Li tried to get up, but he found he was stuck tight. When Mrs. Li grabbed his legs to pull him out, she slipped into the wok too. Chubby Lan finally arrived, out of breath. Help, help, pull us out, cried his parents. Lan grabbed their legs but lost his balance and fell inside with them. Skippity hoppity ho, too far away I will go, sang the wok as it tumbled down the road with the Li family inside, legs waving in the air. Dragon dancers' drums boomed, cymbals crashed, and firecrackers banged, drowning out the Lee family's cries. No one noticed as the walk sped off to the distant hills. The Lee family was never seen again in Beijing. There they go. And here's the dragon dancing. As for the Zhang family, they opened a shop selling woks of all different sizes and styles. Every year they hosted a glorious New Year's feast for all of their friends and family. And to think that it all started with a rusted wok with no handle. And there's an author's note. The Chinese lunar calendar is based on the phases of the moon. The Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, begins on the first new moon of the year and ends on the first full moon, marking a 15-day celebration that usually starts between mid-January and early February. It is the most significant Chinese holiday and emphasizes sharing. Many rituals and traditions are carried out. Dragon dance troupes led by cymbal and drum players wind through the city streets, excited spectators light firecrackers, creating a series of deafening bangs. The racket is believed to scare off evil spirits and ensure a new year full of health, prosperity, and happiness. Food is an important aspect of the celebration. Families and friends gather from far and near to share a New Year's Eve feast and to wish each other a prosperous and happy New Year. Among the dishes traditionally served are whole fish and chicken, which stands for abundance, dumplings and steamed buns, representing togetherness, crab and shrimp, which symbolize prosperity, rice cakes and sweet rice pudding, symbolizing happiness, and noodles, which represent a long and happy life. The most significant dish for children is the festive stir-fried rice, cooked in a wok. The various ingredients in this dish represent harmony and happiness. Parents urge their children to eat it so that they will get along in the upcoming year. The cast iron wok was invented in China during the Han Dynasty, which is 206 BC to 2 AD 220. Even today, it is still the main cooking utensil used in Chinese cuisine. The northern style wok with one handle is slightly lighter than the southern style wok, which comes with two handles. The traditional wok is a symbol of sharing because it is big enough to cook a meal for many families. After reading the Danish folk tale, The Talking Pot, I decided to write a story about the Chinese wok, a symbol of sharing. That's really interesting. And then it also has a recipe for fried rice. So for our celebration of the Lunar New Year, we did several things. We made lanterns, Chinese lanterns, and we had a dragon that we created that the children got to wear and create a dragon dance complete with drums and cymbals and all kinds of noisy things. And we also made fried rice. The children made every bit of it. They cooked all the food themselves, literally. They cut everything. They made the rice. They transferred the rice from the rice pot to a container to cool it in the refrigerator. They cut all of the vegetables for our fried rice. And then we added some shrimp on the side, and they deveined the shrimp and took off the tails and added it to our fried rice. And it was delicious. They cooked the eggs. They gathered the eggs out of the chicken's nest first, cooked the eggs, and added it to the fried rice. So this truly was a celebration of the Chinese New Year and sharing and cooking and using food to bridge cultural gaps. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful evening.